Hello everyone, Happy New Year. Before we jump into 2023, and there's a lot to jump into, let's take a minute, have a cup of tea, sit back and relax, and I will share with you how we ended 2022. It is 2023 and I am so happy to be back here with you all. The last 2 weeks of December are a complete blur. It's just, wow. Wanted to do at least one more Vlogmas episode, but it just didn't happen and I wasn't going to push it because it would have felt like I was pushing it. But I am back now. First episode of the new year. Today is January 7th. It is Saturday. And again, I'm so happy to be back here with you to catch up for a little bit. So yes, back in the swing. My children are back at school. They went back last Tuesday. I feel like the break was a little bit short. I honestly would have loved another couple of days because I feel like once Christmas is over, you have that wonderful blissful week between Christmas and New Year's, and I almost wish it were a little bit longer just to have a little more time to decompress and to relax and not have to do anything. I spent a good portion of that time relaxing, but also just cleaning up and tidying up. We decided to de-Christmas our house a little early this year. I think my husband was feeling it also, just this of the holiday season, and both of us just wanted it to go away. So sort of out of sight, out of mind. And the kids didn't mind. They really didn't. We, of course, double checked with them. We weren't going to take the tree down without their approval. And they were like, no, you could take it down. It's all good. So yeah, I feel like we went into the new year with a really clean slate, and that felt really good. Now, for those of you out there that may be able to relate to this, I love that New Year's Eve or New Year's Day was on Sunday and the week started on a Sunday and the year started on Sunday. It just felt so organized. And I feel like this year, 7 days in, feels really organized. Like it's good. Not everything behind me. So this over here is some leftover Advent skeins and things like that, Advent calendars. I haven't put them away because I don't want to. And so yes, I do Christmas, but not everything here because I really want to. I have some plans for that yarn. So it's sitting over there and over there. Don't think I'll go into that in heavy detail in this episode, but it should be where I want it to be, and I'll share that with you next week or next episode. I'm working on a knitting journal for the first time. So I made that face because I get excited about these things and I'll do like 2 pages and then stop. But I don't know, again, feeling a little more organized and settled. So we'll see how that goes, but I will share that with you later. So let's talk some housekeeping right up front. Then we'll get into all the fun stuff. So right up front, I do want to share that one of the biggest things to start or to happen so far this year is my newsletter has finally launched. I was tempted to put in the applause sound effect, but thought maybe that's a little dramatic. So, but yes, it has finally launched. It's better to do things when you're ready than when people want you to be ready. So I waited, I thought it through. I know that I wanted to do it. And it's now out there. The first episode went out last week. It went out on Thursday. So I'm really, really excited about it. It is a new creative way for me to share information with you in a different way. I do really enjoy writing. And there's times when I don't want these episodes to be too long and too chatty. And then posting on Instagram, yes, you can do reels, but and then you can do stories, of course, which is the main format, but I don't want those posts to be super, super long either, because then you're spending probably more time on social media than you want to. So a newsletter seemed like the perfect in between. It's interactive, but a little less so, and sharing and what's the word? I can't think of the word that I want, but I'm just really excited about it and really, really happy to bring this new thing to all of you. So the name of the newsletter is Words and Wool. And I chose that name because it speaks to my two passions. And I think a lot of you who are watching Vlogmas really understood or really got how much words and books and literature means to me. And it was really awakened or reawakened with the Women in Literature Winter Countdown by 6 and 7 Fibers. There's something about that calendar that just reignited a fire, and I'm so, so happy. So words, I'm going to be sharing, so the words portion of Words and Will, I will be sharing what I'm reading, currently, things I've read in the past, authors past and present, maybe the occasional magazine article. I really want to just share that love with you and how it also inspires my making. A lot of times I am listening as I'm knitting, as I'm making, as I'm creating, and which is another reason why I feel like the knitting journal is going to work for me a little bit more, because I also want to log in not just my projects, but what I'm listening to with each project. So I want it to be almost diary-like, and I've talked about my socks being a diary, so I really want that to be that for me. So that's the words portion, and wool is obvious. Wool. Lots of it. What I'm making, what I'm excited about. And I had talked about this a while back, sharing a tutorial on how to use Instagram. And I still want to do that. I'm just trying to figure out how to do it. There's so much on Instagram that inspires me. So many makers and designers that really, just blow my mind with what they're coming up with. And I want to share a little bit more of that here, or not here, but in the newsletter for those of you that are not on social media. And that's really what I want to go in there. And it's not going to be what you see there doesn't necessarily mean what you see in the newsletter doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to be teaching it or creating a tutorial for it or anything. It's just, this is inspiring me. I want to share it with you. Have fun going down the rabbit hole. That is the whole purpose of that newsletter, is to inspire you to pursue your interests, pursue the things that excite you. So many people will reach out and oh, how do you do this? How do you do that? I saw you doing this. Tell me exactly what you're doing. And yes, I can do that, but there's honestly times when I just want to make and say, look, this is what I've done, and sort of use Instagram and even this vlog as a log of what I'm doing. And it's not about not sharing, but like sometimes those details are in the pattern that I'm using. So I encourage you to go and look at the pattern, go and look at the designer that I'm following, or go and watch the video that I've shared and have fun. Enjoy that journey on your own. I'm happy to guide, But I that's really what I want to foster, is that sense of empowerment as a maker. That is really, really important. And it's interesting too, because I saw, well, let's talk about that later. Yeah, I have a train of thought, but it's just going to become a little bit much, but I'll talk about that more later. So newsletter has launched, and you can go on over to, I will add a link to it down below. It's right on my website. There isn't a direct link to the newsletter sign up. There is a direct link to my website. Once you are on the website, just scroll down the page and you will see the sign up for the newsletter. Super simple. So you can go on there, add your email address, and you will get the next issue or letter that comes out. Okay, so that's how that works. I am really, really excited about that. And other shop news or other housekeeping is there will be an update, yay, finally, for my Falling in Love colorway. You know what? I didn't bring the skein here with me, but I will put a picture in for you here. So that is going to be, I'm not restocking, it will be a pre-order. So what that means, you go to my website, it will only be on my website, not on Woolens Nosh, who is the dyer, Michelle is the dyer. It will be exclusively on my website. You can go on over there and click right onto the pre-order. You place your order for it. It will be a full skein with a mini. You place your order there, and the turnaround time is approximately 4 to 6 weeks. So once we have 150 spots open, once that number has been reached, the pre-order will close. Those skeins will be dyed. They will then be packaged, and then I will ship everything out. So the turnaround time is approximately 4 to 6 weeks. I'm thinking a little bit less, but I'm giving you like as far out as possible. That way no one's stomping their feet after a week saying, where's my yarn? So that is how that will work. So yeah, that's it for basically for housekeeping stuff. Let's take a break and then talk about some knitting that I got done, including this little cutie. Being a new year, being the start of a new year, there's always this rush for resolutions and to change things and to do things differently and set goals for yourself. I did that years ago and I don't do it anymore. Right now it's intentions. I work toward intentions, and a lot of them I try to almost trick myself. So a lot of them I try to put into place before the new year, within December. Things that I don't like that I do for myself personally, things that I might want to change or slow down or alter for myself creatively. And those things like I said, I try to start in December. That way it doesn't feel like this big thing I now have to do in the new year. It's just a little mind game, but it works. It works for me. So one thing I'm doing is for the month of January, I really want to finish up a lot of projects that have been on the needles for a very long time. I have started something new and I'll share that with you later, but I really want to finish. January is such a dark, cozy, stay-in kind of a month. The weather's not always the greatest here in the Northeast, and it's really cold outside. And most of us just want to stay in. I want to stay in with big cups of tea and just finish up some projects and then start some new ones. And that's my goal for my making, as well as the newsletter and other pursuits. So this little scarf, I don't think I shared this here. I don't think I did. This is the Sophie scarf. It is a one skein wonder. Let me lean in a little bit so you can see. Isn't that cute? I love this so much, so I will take it off. This is actually unblocked. I've worn it a couple of times now, but I haven't blocked it. So here's what it looks like. And this is less than one skein of, and this yarn that I used is, just checking my notes, so it's called the Sophie scarf, and this is by PetiteKnit. There is also a shawl version of this, a big luscious wraparound shawl version. I saw a lot of these at Rhinebeck this past year and fell in love with it. My dear friend Chelsea of Legacy Fiber Arts was wearing one, even a little smaller, a little thinner, and I absolutely loved it. So I cast on one. I think I started this in just after Rhinebeck, so October, and it was just pick it up, knit a couple of rows and put it back down, but I finally finished it. It's so cute. And this yarn is Chelsea. It's by Chelsea Yarns. It's Chelsea Luxe DK. So I'll hold that up for you to see. And I love how tonal it is. You basically start, let me see, this is, which is the start end? You know what? I can't tell. All right, but anyway, you start at one end and work steady increases until you reach the midway point, which is right about here, and then you start decreasing. And it has this absolutely beautiful built-in I-cord that I just love. Look at that. And then you finish it off, and it has very detailed instructions on finishing it off, and it's just lovely. It is a quick, easy project, very beginner friendly. I think I used a size 5 needle on this, and it just wraps around your neck. I haven't even blocked it. Like I said, I've just been wearing it. It would probably be even longer if I blocked it. And you just tuck it just like that. Lovely. And it's perfect on days when it's not super duper freezing, but you still want to wear something like this, but you need a little something around your neck for the cold. So that is my Sophie scarf. And this colorway is Sandstone. So that is that. I've worked on Christmas gifts. I think I put in a little video in the beginning of me knitting, and it was kind of dark and, Christmas Eve-y. And I was finishing up a hat for my sister. This, I gifted that already, so I don't have it here. I will put a picture of it in here, but it is the Easie Beanie. This is mine. And I knit one of these for her, as you can see, in this really lovely sort of khaki color. And that is, I did that in, it's the Easie Beanie by Brandi, Cheyenne, Harper. And the yarn is Magpie. It's by Magpie, and it's their Swanky DK. Lots of DK projects. They go so fast. So, and the colorway is Castaway. So this is it. And it has this really beautiful edge to it. It's such a unique design. I had never done a hem like this before making this one myself. Really, really pretty. And then the top has this 3-point. Hold on, let me see if I can open that up so you can see. It has this 3-point decrease, and it is just so lovely. Yeah, and even the decrease in this, it was a left-leaning, I think it was a left-leaning or right-leaning decrease, and I had never done one like this, like that decrease before either. So a really, really lovely pattern, and she has, oh my gosh, I think there's 12 sizes in this pattern. So I'd knit one for my sister last winter, and she really wanted another one in that sort of khaki color, so so you can see I'm loving all these light wintry colors right now. So that is that. And I finished a pair of socks too. Let's see. I finished my 2022 Advent 24 stripe skein by the Cozy Knitter. And here they are, all done. Look at that. They are finished. They are finished. It included the mini. So it included this really beautiful white mini. It is my Socksploration pattern, 64 stitches, contrasting cuff, heel, and toes, shadow wrap short row heel, and then a rounded toe. And purely coincidence, seriously, purely coincidence. I don't know how it worked this year because I don't think it's worked in the past. I counted, well, I'll tell you in a minute, but I was able to get exactly 24 stripes on this sock, and then I did the toe. So it is 24 stripes exactly. I have got, let me pull it out right here. I have it here. I've got that much left. Tuck in the little end there. I have that much left. which is more than enough to make a pair of Everything November mitts by Jen Yard, which is my plan for this. So I posted this picture on, I posted a picture of the socks and said that this was my 5th pair of 24 stripe, the advent of Cozy Knitters Advent skein. And I said to people, I asked people if they'd like to see all 5, and I posted a picture of all 5, and I had already done one set of Everything November mitts, I think for 2019. So I really want to go back and knit a pair because I have approximately that much left over for each year. So I am going to go back and knit the Everything November mitts, but here they are. And I love this color. There's something about this color that just every single color. They're just all so beautiful. Love them so, so much. So yay, there they are. And so I will post a picture here for you of all 5. They were so much fun. I look forward to this every year. I feel like it's now a tradition for the holidays, and just putting them all together in the picture. I had not done that before, and it was just really fun to see them all. So yep, looking forward to next year. And I think Christina, who is the Cozy Knitter, she posted that she has a slightly different plan for next year. I can't wait to see it. Wait, this is kind of untying itself. Absolutely cannot wait to see what she does next year. So that will be pair number 6. Yay. So yep, all done. Off the needles. Off the needles. And what else do I have in terms of, looking at my notes here, in terms of projects? I think that's it. Yeah, the Advent. So let's pause for 1 second, and then we'll talk about the Women in Literature again. So let's talk about the Women in Literature calendar again, if you don't mind. I'm just madly, I'm still in love with it so much. I've sent messages to Rachel. She is the dyer of 6 and 7 fibers, and just keep raving about it. And I feel like I'm a little obsessed. I can't wait to figure out, but I'm not rushing myself to figure out what to make with it. And I really want to do something special. I revisited an old favorite the other day, which I'll share with you. Wait, it's a little tangled. Oh dear. How did that happen? Oh shucks. You know what? I'll be right back. That's better. Sorry about that. Had a little tangle. So I decided to revisit. I did cast on a new pair of socks. I'll share those later. But I decided to revisit an old favorite that I had been working on for a really long time. And here it is. Look at this. This is the 2019 Advent Wallop cowl. I don't remember the designer. I'll put it on the screen here for you. And I just love this. I wanted to do a cowl, and I'll show you in a sec. I wanted to do a cowl, like an infinity cowl. I wanted it to be something simple, but I didn't want the colors like just butting up against each other, like one and then the next and the next. And I saw this calendar. I saw this cowl. I think Kay Litton, who's the Cozy Knitter, she knit one, and I saw it and thought, that's it. That is exactly what I want to do with this. It doesn't show any jogs in the color because of the very unique way that you are changing colors with this knit two together yarn over that's going on here. So love this, and this is how it will work. And it will go around my neck twice by the time I finish. So I think I've got, let me see how many colors I have here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I have 17. And this yarn is from, I think maybe a 2020. I had talked about this, I think, here before. This is the Downton Abbey Winter Countdown Calendar by Canon Hand Dyed. And I had this sitting for a while. I had the yarn sitting, and I cast on last year, counting down to the release of the second film. Didn't finish it, but that's okay. And just pulled it back out because I want it really badly. I really want to wear it. And I'm thinking about making another one of these, even though I haven't finished this one, another one of these in the Women in Literature countdown calendar. But I have a different idea for the transition between colors. So stay tuned for that. So yeah, I've been working on this, and it is just it's round and round and round and round. It's even more soothing some days than a sock because there's really no counting. I don't have to stop and do a heel. I'm not working on ribbing for a cuff. There's no toe shaping. It's going, I'm going and going and going. And I can kind of wear it as I knit, which is really, really nice. And then at the end, so it has let me take it back off. It has a provisional cast on. I don't know if can you see that? It has a provisional crochet cast on. So here's the beginning. And that's the beginning of the round and end of the round. So when I have finished all 24, I will graft these two ends together, and then it can wrap as many times as you want around your neck. So yeah, it's just regular Kitchener stitch grafting, grafting with just same way that I would with a sock. I'll just hold the two ends together and graft all the way around. It's a little time consuming because there's a lot of stitches. Sorry, just earthquake there. It's a lot of stitches, but there's no rush, no hurry. I'm happy to do it. I don't mind the Kitchener stitch. So that is what I am very happily working on right now. I don't have the socks in front of me. But I'll put a picture of the socks in here. This was my New Year's Eve cast on, and I did talk about this during Vlogmas. Let me put those down over there. I did talk about it during Vlogmas. I don't know why I don't have it in front of me, and I don't want to pause and run down the hall, but yeah, it is Carols in the Snow by Tiny Human Knits. I cast on New Year's Eve. So peaceful, so lovely, and it's just it could not be more perfect for this time of the year. You know what? My neck is chilly. I'm gonna put this back on. It's so perfect for this time of the year. I don't usually gravitate to green, but this colorway is so deep and rich, and I just love it. I love it. So lots and lots of knitting. One thing when I mentioned the newsletter is finishing up old projects. So I have something else that I'm looking at that I don't even want to talk about, but it will be finished. I'm literally binding it off. There's a lot of projects going right now. The mojo is intense. It's very, very intense. So lots of really beautiful projects, lots of beautiful yarn. I feel like I'm sitting in a cozy nest, and it feels really, really good right now. So it's all good. And yeah, before I wrap up though, I want to talk about my word of the year. That's a thing. So we'll talk about that in a sec. So every year, something that's done, I find among a lot of podcasters, just people in general, people choose a word of the year. What is their word? And last year, my word of the year was autonomy, and meaning to self-govern. And I feel like in the beginning of the year, I knew I had my word, but I wasn't striving toward that with much diligence. Let's say that. And it was there. It was my word. I picked my word. Okay, let's get on with the year. But then I feel like right around fall, maybe end of September, beginning of October, there was a bit of a shift for me personally. And that word really started to kick in and really started to become important for me. And I really fully embraced what that word meant and took responsibility for a lot of things in my life, made some really important decisions, made amends with certain things, and it felt really good. And I felt like I could stand up straighter and hold my head higher. I keep shifting. Sorry, everybody. And it was good. It felt really, really good. So now into the new year, I wanted to carry that word with me into the new year, but while I still feel autonomous and still plan on practicing that daily, I feel like a perfect tie-in to that word is not even a word, it's a phrase. Remember your why. Let's leave that there for a sec. Remember your why. Why are you doing what you're doing? So it's one thing to govern oneself, to be independent, to do this, to do that, to do the next thing. But why are you doing it? What's your motivation? What is the driving force behind that decision that you're about to make, or that thing you're about to do, or that even simple as that project you're about to cast on? And I read it. I listened to the Daily J on the Calm app, CALM, and he mentioned this phrase once in a meditation one morning, and I thought, remember your why. What is wow? And I heard what he said, but then really thought about it and looked at, like, what does that mean exactly? And I felt a shift. I definitely felt a shift, and remembering my why is really important. Why am I podcasting? Why am I making? Why did I start a newsletter? Why do I even run my household the way that I do? Why do I parent my children the way I do? Why for everything? And it's not annoyance. It's not like you have to stop and think about it every time you do something. It's just a guide for myself. It's a guide to maybe tweak my decisions just before I make them, to think before I act. And that's what I want. That's a part of self-governing that I really want for myself. I want to think before I do something, rather than just to react or to do something impulsively. Spending, shopping, knitting, whatever it is. And that's my phrase for the year. I talked about this at length with a friend of mine, and we came up with some other phrases, but I feel like ultimately it ties back. I kept coming back to that phrase. So what is my word of the year? My phrase of the year? Remember your why. And I would love for you all to share with me in the comments down below, what is your word for the year? What is your intention? What are your plans? Don't have to be hard and fast plans, and you could put that down in this episode and maybe revisit it in a year, come back to this episode, and maybe find your comment there and say, oh, you know what? Didn't follow that at all. or yep, I was right on target and stuck with it. So it just might be this might be a nice little log for you to check in with yourself throughout the year, or just at the end of the year. So just glancing at my notes as usual. That's it. That is my first episode of 2023. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you had a really lovely holiday season. I mentioned multiple times during Vlogmas, I know the holidays are hard. The beginning of the year started out really hard for people. Some people passed away at the beginning have already passed away at the beginning, so well-known people. People in your own life may have passed away, maybe even at the end of there could be a plethora of things that may make you feel slightly derailed. But it's okay. Just start where you are. I know I'm sounding a little like a Hallmark card right now, but these phrases, there's a reason why they're used. So I hope your year is off to a good start. And if it's not, I hope you are able to get it back on track in the direction that you want. I am so happy that you are here. There are quite a few new subscribers. So if you are new to this channel and to my space, welcome. I am so happy that you're here. Returning viewer, mwah. I'm grateful to you all, and so happy to see you. And I will see you again very, very soon. Bye, everybody.